So I told the girl, I said, well, do me a favor, put the money in the bag. Excuse me. You on your phone? Yeah. Oh man, I'm playing this game, Royal Kingdom. Love this game. You're playing Royal Kingdom? Yeah. At my show. I'm so sorry. You do not have to. Royal Kingdom. Let's be clear. I'm playing the game uninterrupted. What else you hate? Chewing your food, sir. Don't need Wi-Fi. Signal while I'm trying to get to a new level. What level you on? At the moment? Yeah. Right, 120. We didn't say how many movies you did this year. We said what level you are. Movies you did this year. We said what level you are. Movies you did this year. We said what level you are. Movies you did this year. We said what level you are.
Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everyone? What is up? Let me. Alright, let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I just switched over my mic. What's up, guys? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. What up? What up? It's been a minute. It has been a minute. As you guys can see, I still have a lot of bullshit in the back. hence one of the reasons I've been away for a while. What up, guys? Appreciate you guys in the chat. Alex, is that a yes? You guys can hear me okay? Hope so. I hope so. My dogs will be walking in the background. What up? Drinking Wrestling League. What up? What up, Alex and Michael? Appreciate you guys filing in here. And we started before the show even started. We got a super chat, so I definitely want to address that right here because I appreciate that, man. Very, 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 very much so. It's definitely not necessary, but it helps out a lot, man. It really does. So shout out Lord of Dogtown. Sent over 10. I appreciate you, bro. Very much so. You said I don't watch wrestling anymore, taking a much needed hiatus. I'm just burnt out. Anyways, hope all is well with you and everyone in the chat. Hope you all are enjoying your weekend. Stay cool, y'all. So fuck yeah, man. I appreciate that again, very much so. I feel you, bro. Sometimes you do just need to take a break from something. I get it, bro. And right now, to be completely honest and real with you guys, wrestling is not at its most exciting. Of course, for me personally, there's been a couple things. AJ Lee has made a big difference, so I'm excited about that. But overall, man, I 100% know what you're feeling. I have, besides again, to be completely honest with you guys, besides the whole AJ Lee, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch of it all, I have not been that pressed to tune in live to the shows for the past few weeks. Me personally, I've had a lot going on, which I'll briefly get into, but I understand, dude. So with that being said, thank you again for donating here to the show. I appreciate that, man. But that is kind of what I wanted to chat with you guys about as well here tonight. You guys and me, man, kind of a little all over the place. Definitely going to be talking about WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. That was one of the things that really pushed me to carve out a little bit of time and visual space for you guys to sit here and chat about it, because there's a lot that goes into a big decision like that. A lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings, a lot of perspectives. So I wanted to talk about that. Kind of wanted to talk through it with you guys. I have some I don't know, strong feelings or opinions about it is the case, because I'm not going to sit here and like yell or rant or anything like that. But I personally come from it from a different place than some other people. So yeah, it's just a lot with it. I know at least one WrestleMania that I will not be attending, right? And I did watch the, I guess, announcement press conference, whatever you want to call it, that they did in Saudi Arabia with His Excellency. If you guys didn't catch it, like I don't know if that was like a drinking game, and that word, His Excellency, or that like title, was one of those buzzwords, my goodness, you'd be fucked right now. Well, whatever time that was. But we'll obviously be getting into that. I do want to touch on AEW a bit. And again, kind of what Lord of Dogtown was referring to, just the overall feeling. I kind of feel for AEW, though, in some sense. So we'll get into that. And then whenever else comes up, guys, like I was saying, me, we'll talk about some bullshit. We'll talk about whatever else comes up. But I just definitely at least want to chat about Saudi Arabia and get that out of the way. Right here, really quick. Want to chat about Saudi Arabia. Oops, I need to get that out of the way. Close that tab. Oh. Had YouTube open twice there. 1 second. Need to move some shit. But I do. Let me know. Okay, so there is a chat or a poll in the chat. So if you're watching on YouTube, shout out to everyone watching everywhere on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. But if you are watching on YouTube, I definitely do want you to participate in the poll. So if you just pop in, pop out, if you're watching here live, because I don't think the poll is active after the live stream ends. But if you are in here live, definitely at least make your voice heard in the poll, because I want to I just curious. Shout out Canada Joy. Good old ginger ale. But yeah, so really quick, guys, again, I appreciate you all still being here and still being subscribed to the channel. I know I took a couple weeks off, a few weeks off, however long it's been. Obviously had to move. Still setting up the second bedroom here. Main thing is I need to get my bed in, because that's going to determine the final placement of my desk, and then all the bullshit I'm going to hang up. Got to get that out of storage unit. Since we have an additional bedroom now, need to get the other bed out. All that, those little things that go into moving. But I also ran into a crazy, I don't know if sickness is the right word, but not a great time a couple weeks ago now. I guess it's been about 2 weeks ago now. On Monday morning, I was getting ready for work, going to work, and I just had crazy abdomen pain, nausea, all that stuff. I'm not gonna get into the nasty details, but yeah, had to go to the ER because it was just one of those feelings that you just know something's not right. You know what I mean? Because I'm one of those people. I get it from my grandpa. I despise going to the doctor. I put it off. I just don't. I'm not gonna say I ignore stuff, but I just put it off into the very last second, until it's either unbearable or whatever happens, depending on the circumstance. And yeah, so did the blood work, all that stuff. Turns out I had pancreatitis. So that was interesting. So we are just trying to determine the source of it. So that's why I was not able to do the brass ring media stream this morning. Because I had to go to a procedure, which crazy enough, they have procedures and like certain things that they do on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. I was like, no fucking way. So I was able to get that done. This shit took forever. It was like a 6-hour thing. But yeah, so that's another reason why I've been MIA. And another reason why in the future I may be kind of sporadic, because it just kind of hits me out of nowhere sometimes. And yeah, until I can kind of figure it out and manage it a little bit better, I may be a little bit more sporadic than I even once was. But it's nothing personal, guys. And I'm still here. But I just wanted to put that out there, because I do miss you guys, and I do appreciate you guys for still being here and still either watching live or watching on replay. So all of that is appreciated. So I just wanted to get that bullshit out of the way. Just kind of give you guys a heads up. Just because I like to be transparent with you guys. I feel like we're all friends here. We're here for a reason, and yeah, just wanted to kind of make you all abreast of the situation. Let me know if you guys can hear my dog chewing her bone in the background. Again, that shit's really loud, but if not, cool. Yo, what up, Sai? What up, my friend? I was thinking about you. I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be too late for you to pop in live. I appreciate you popping in, bro. What's up? What's up? All right, so I guess we'll just get into the main subject here, the talk of the week, right? And that's WWE, Saudi Arabia, all that shit. I'm just pulling up. I'm gonna see, because like I said, I did watch the, I guess, like, announcement, we'll just call it, the press conference, whatever. We'll just call it a press conference, I guess, that they held from Las Vegas, because they were there for, I think, that AAA show, which, shout out Dirty Dom, right? He beat Vikingo. I have not watched it, but I've seen, some shit on X, Twitter. And do you guys care if I still call it Twitter? I'm not trying to, like, be like that person. X just doesn't flow for me. Like, it's just kind of odd. And it's just always gonna be Twitter to me. But yo, there's so much shit happening, man. Oh, and I know some of you guys don't live here in America. And this is not a political channel, but the whole Charlie Kirk situation, God, that's just been everywhere. And it's just a crazy situation, bro. It's just fucking crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen the video, Wild shit. Fucking wild shit, dude. Like, regardless of what side you're on, wild shit. I'll just leave it there. Oh, but yeah, and that was the other thing I wanted to bring up here, so we'll throw that on here. But Andrade, if you guys have seen or maybe have not seen, it broke a little, maybe a few hours ago. Andrade, hit my funny bone, is no longer in WWE. Andrade has, I guess, requested his leave. Let me go to Fightful. Shout out to Fightful for the reporting there. And I believe Sean Ross Sapp had stated that they partnered with someone else to like mutually break the story. Give me 1 second to pull that up here. That was the other thing that I wanted to chat about. When I was setting up the title, I was like, comma, I was like, what the fuck was the other thing I wanted to talk about? And I was like, whatever else comes up. Shut the fuck up. There's not another $500,000 5-on-5. Remind me, guys, to talk about the 500,000 all-star tag team bullshit things that happened too. Oh, it may just be for subscribers. Let me see. Ugh. They may just have it on their paid site, and I am not a subscriber. No offense, nothing personal. I'm literally about to tomorrow before the Eagles game. I am about to go through my finances. Not that it matters to you guys because there's so many fucking subscriptions. It is kind of a tie into wrestling because I was debating on getting the ESPN bullshit, even though I am not trying to pay $30 a month. But I was trying to see what the ESPN app includes in regards to like the football games, like the NFL games. So yeah, and I'll be getting quicker internet starting on the 15th. I think that's Monday. I'll be getting a Wi-Fi extender, so that's great news for us too. For us streaming here. Yeah, I think the Andrade stuff, I guess, is maybe just on their Fightful Select. Damn. But Andrade is gone from WWE. I was trying to, just because I want to be able to obviously reference it properly. And let me know if you guys have already found an article or read it in the chat too, or read it anywhere. Throw it in the chat. If he asked for his release, or if I don't think that they would have released him. I think they would have announced something. What's up? Oh, maybe I am. All right, so via Wrestle Ops, so shout out to them. Originally, they posted that Andrade has left WWE, but then they followed that up with a tweet. Let me pull it up here and share with you guys. All right. All right. So again, shout out Russell Ops. They say Andrade was effectively released by WWE. The departure was not a mutual decision and was noted that it was not related to budget cuts. The exact nature of the situation is not entirely clear. And they sourced that view at SI, so Sports Wrestling. Apparently there's an article, so I'll pull it up here and see if we can. read that together once I swim through these ads. All right, cool. All right, so shout out to Fightful.com. I'll throw that in the show notes there. And looks like it was by Jeremy Lambert. So shout out Jeremy. It states Andrade is gone from WWE. Fightful Select reports that Andrade has departed WWE. He was moved to the alumni section on the WWE website. Andrade made his return to WWE at the Royal Rumble in 2024 after a stint with AEW. He last wrestled at WWE SummerSlam, teaming with Rey Fenix in a TLC match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The match was won by the Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis. He had been teaming with Phoenix regularly leading up to SummerSlam. Phoenix answered Sami Zayn's open challenge for the WWE United States title on Friday's SmackDown show. He is a former, and I'm just going through his accolades here. Let me see if I can get rid of this. All right, there we go. He's a former NXT champion and WWE United States champion. Both reigns came during his first run with the company, which spanned from 2015 to 2021. In his second run, he captured the WWE Speed Championship, which is no longer a thing, apparently, because WWE has stopped their partnership that they had with X for that. So that championship is no longer a thing. After his departure from WWE in 2021, Andrade signed with AEW in June, same year. He was with AEW until the end of 2023 before his WWE return at the 24 Rumble. And just goes on to say, Fightful Select will have more details on Andrade's departure when they are known. And I believe Sean had stated he had got a heads up from someone who had alerted him that Andrade was moved to the alumni section. So that's what prompted him to reach out to WWE. And then, of course, the speculation was out there too. Is he going to go back to AEW? Is he going to be the first person to go from WWE to AEW, back to WWE, back to AEW? Can you imagine? And I mean, shit, why not? If they're good. I'm going through Sean's page here to see what other updates he has here. And I was trying to find that guy's handle. Okay, yeah. So shout out to WrestleMobs on Twitter. Sean stated Andrade is gone from WWE. Fightful Select has confirmed at WrestleMobs. Put it on our radar that he was moved to the alumni section and that he might be finished up. And then that's when they go on to report more on Fightful Select soon. That was 6 hours ago, and of course, there's been updates since then. But I was just trying to look through because I wanted to at least verbally give that gentleman, WrestleMobs, credit as well. Sean also stated 5 hours ago. Here, I'll just put it up here. That Andrade's WWE departure is isolated and is not part of a wave of releases, which is interesting. In some ways, good. At least it's not like one of those like Black Friday, Black Saturday type situations where a whole round of cuts are about to happen because you hate seeing people lose their job, right? It still sucks for Andrade until we know exactly what happened. But it looks like WrestleMobs is affiliated with bodyslam.net. So shout out to them. They stated As reported by at WrestleMobs in collaboration with Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful, Andrade has left WWE, and then they say for more details on what we at Body Slam Net learned on this, the reported timeline of events, subscribe to their stuff. Sean says, sources told FightfulSelect.com last month that Andrade was not on the company's internal injury list and had not been backstage at SmackDown, which could also be a reason. And, well, just a reason, period, that Rey Fenix, again, obviously, was doing the solo thing on SmackDown. It kind of sucks because I was digging Andrade and Phoenix as a tag team, and it was getting both of them used more, but it, I guess, does make sense as to what the absence for both of them has been recently. And it makes you wonder too, since Phoenix has just challenged for the United States Championship and lost, which is and before we continue on, I removed myself. Before we continue on, fucking, if you have 15, 20 minutes, maybe whatever it was, of time, and you have access to it, go and watch the Rey Fenix and Sami Zayn match on SmackDown, because I just thought that was such a fun match. Just a good old fashioned, if you want to say that phrase, like just a good feel babyface versus babyface, good guy versus good guy match. You know, it was just one of those, it kind of took you back, you know, in my opinion. And if I'm, biased, shout out to Norfolk, Virginia, because that crowd was a great crowd. I think it was kind of like, again, like that old timey crowd type of vibe that just reacts how you would imagine, you know what I mean? And didn't do too much, but did just enough, in my opinion. Maybe I'm biased, hometown peeps, but I just thought it was a fun show. Yeah, was it the best SmackDown ever or top 10, top 20? No. But I thought it was a very good show, especially compared to what we have had earlier. And like, God, I keep hitting my elbow. Like Lord of Dogtown referenced earlier, just kind of feeling burnt out of wrestling and it not being as, and my words here, not being as exciting and just something that investable, is that a word? Yeah. Just something that you can really like sink your teeth into, right? And like, cause and I hate to compare it to this because these were just so great, but like the bloodline storyline, and there's debate on, did it get extended a little too long? Maybe. But I'm talking about the peak of it with Sammy and Roman and the Usos and all that shit, that was must-see TV in my opinion. And then even the story with Cody and the chase and the finishing the story and all that. And that kind of, and I'm trying to hold off because that kind of ties into a little bit of like the WrestleMania and Saudi Arabia and all that stuff. But in my opinion, it's the overall feeling and the overall vibe. Like you watch wrestling because of the journey, man. Like you watch it because of the stories that you want to buy into and you want to believe into. And to be completely honest, I've been thinking of the fan chants and the sing-alongs and like the international crowds and stuff like that. I really believe it's just the fans wanting so badly to, yes, be involved, but to just kind of have that throwback to back in the day. You know what I mean? Like there was always those entrances, like those themes that had the sing along, and those wrestlers who in their shtick, right? Like, and Road Dogg keeps coming to mind. So you say what you want booking wise and all that shit. People give him a lot of shit for what, whatever. Booking wise on SmackDown, I don't know who does what, so I'm not here to say anything like that. The Road Dogg I know, right? On TV back in the day, that motherfucker was entertaining as shit, right? And it was a segment that you look forward to and you paid money to go to as a fan because you knew you were going to be able to be involved in it, and you knew you were going to be able to release that energy that you have in you during that, right? So I really think that What's up, pal? I really think that the fans wanting, and if you want to say like taking over and hijacking and singing along during certain matches, I really think that that is the fans and us just exerting that energy and like creating a way to exert it, right? If we don't have those engaging segments, right? Like we used to have. So I don't know. Just some quick thoughts on that. I really don't know how that came up. I forget how I got sidetracked to that. But back to Andrade. Hey, Cal. Sean said, sources told Fightful last month that he was on the internal injury list. We went over that. Oh, Maven helped an 11-year-old who suffered a stroke at just 5 years old in Cody Rhodes. That's fucking dope. Shout out Maven. And shout out that kid, man. God, and that's why you just, I don't know, man. I hate to, we all have, we all need to vent and talk about our shit, but God, man, you just look at kids like that and who went through a fucking stroke at 5 years old, man. And you're just like, yo, like, my life is not that bad. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, this is the one that I wanted to get to. So it says via Sean, again, shout out to Sean. Those that I spoke to for at Fightful Select Report said that while Andrade left AEW on less than ideal terms, quote, no bridge is truly burned in AEW, end quote. It's possible that he could return, he, I guess, could return, could return if there's nothing heinous tied to his departure. And then more for their story for their subscribers. That is interesting to me because I just go through here really quick. Oh yeah, and it looks like Shawn Michaels is getting his knees replaced. I wonder if that has anything to do with what's happening in about a year and a half, 2 years. Okay, cool. So again, shout out to Sean Ross, doing great work over there. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Andrade is going to go back to AEW? Do you think he's going to be the first guy to go from AEW? I'm sorry, from WWE to AEW, back to WWE, back to AEW. I just think that'd be fucking wild. Like my hair right now. That would be fucking wild if that would be the case. And again, as Sean have quoted there, or have quoted via, I guess, a source, no bridge is truly burned within AEW. I think that's interesting because while I do see, and again, listen, just hear me out. There is a good amount of comparisons and similarities between Tony Khan and Vince McMahon, the booker and the businessman. Now, I know that's crazy, and it's not, I'm saying even the majority, but there are some, right? And while I do think Tony Khan, like a Vince McMahon, would put business above personal feelings, I know it's a completely different situation comparing the two, but Andrade's tenure in AEW wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, right? There were reports of him getting into like backstage confrontations. Wasn't it him and Sammy Guevara they got into some shit? Even like on Twitter, I think. Whatever. Just in my opinion, just whatever. It's just dumb bullshit. Like shit happens. People in the workplace get into arguments and possibly into fights, especially when you're in an environment like this, right? These people aren't going into an office setting, into a cubicle setting, right? Like they're going into a high testosterone, high high adrenaline environment, right? Like, especially like all the guys, right? Like, I'm not trying to be like, sexist or anything like that. It just is what it is. Like, you like, and females too, obviously, everyone. Like, but like, there's something like different, like like ego wise, you know what I mean? Like, and you want to be the best. You want to, you just want to be the top dog. You want to be the dude, right? You want to be the alpha. And when you are in sometimes depending on the situation, depending on the environment and the circumstances at that time, sometimes it's quote unquote a perfect storm, and a lot of times that can boil over depending on the temperaments involved. But it's not a big deal. Like, fucking shit happens. Like, that's why when we would hear about all the reports coming out, like the I guess tension or just whatever, like the shit that goes on with AEW behind the scenes. I'm just like, so what? You know what I mean? Like, shit happens. Like, yes, there should be maybe a tighter hold on it, because you don't want there to be fist fights, right? Every fucking week or anything like that, or it to be an unsafe working environment, because nowadays that's a big thing. So you do want to be mindful of that. But like I said, these motherfuckers aren't going to do like office work and aren't going to fucking sit down at computers at cubicles. You know what I mean? So it's like it is a different type of setting and a different environment. So not to excuse it, it just is what it is in my opinion. So you can't look at it with the same lens. So I don't know. Like, I just think that you do have to be a fucking decent human being, right? And not just be a hothead and pop off and everything. But, say what you gotta say. And speak up for yourself, respectfully. But sometimes shit just blows over, and sometimes it's just one of them days, you know what I mean? Y'all remember that, I almost said Linkin Park, but it wasn't Linkin Park. Limp Bizkit song about break stuff? Like, it's just one of those days, like, sometimes I think of that, it's just one of those days. And it be like that. And that's why I'm like, when I first read that tweet earlier, that's why I went before we start going live here. That's why I wanted to find it here. I was like, when I first saw, the possibility that he could be the first one to go back and forth however many times, I was like, no. But then I was like, you know what? Maybe he could. And getting back to my Tony Khan point, Vince McMahon point, while I do think and while my first, again, to kind of explain a little bit further, while I was, my first thought was no fucking way would Tony Khan want to bring him back. Full respect where it's due. Andrade is a great talent and just a great talent. He's not a top star, right? So I don't see Tony Khan bending over backwards to make an apology and to make amends and to do whatever is needed to bring Andrade back. But I don't, and maybe you guys know, you can throw it in the chat. I don't know fully why he left. Obviously, he was not happy. He wasn't being booked a lot. I don't know if it was one of those situations where it doesn't work for me, brother. You know what I mean? Or if it was just there was nothing being presented to him, period. Or maybe it was a mixture of both. Who knows? Maybe you guys know. I don't know. But I don't think it was the best of departures. I think I remember when he did leave, he sent out like some, like positive tweet. So that's great. At least he didn't go around shit talking AEW, right? Because again, you don't want to be the one to burn the bridge, right? If someone else burns the bridge, they can always try to rebuild it themselves, but you don't want to be the one in that situation. Callie is like trying to figure out where she wants to lay. But I do think Tony Khan, the businessman, excuse me, especially with all the petty bullshit that WWE has been doing to them, I can very much see Tony Khan, the businessman, and maybe even the personal side, a mixture of both, being like, fuck yeah, like, because he's a billionaire. Like, few $100,000, you know what I mean? To bring Andrade back in. Just to say fuck you to WWE. Maybe even bring it back to Ed All Out, you know? I don't know. I'm assuming if he was released by WWE, it's effective, obviously effective immediately, but I don't know if there's any of the 90-day clause or anything like that. If that's the case, that would put a wrench into that plan. But shit, if there's no, clause, hold off, nothing like that, and he's free money, shit. If I'm Tony Khan, I would highly entertain the idea. Nothing long term, maybe you just do a year. And that could be your pitch. That could be your pitch, depending on, let's just, in this situation, let's just say it was Andrade being an asshole behind the scenes and just not being someone to play ball, who will play ball, right? And whatever you present him, he's just like, nah. If that's the case, and now he's released and he wants to come back, I would be like, all right, bro, let's, and it wasn't anything too extreme, right? And you kind of get a feel of the room, of your talent, and kind of see, a read of the room, lay of the land type thing, right? And if it's not going to ruffle too many feathers and you got some fuck around and find out money, I'd be like, shit, you know what I mean, Andrade? We could do a year. Let's do a year because, things didn't go 100% smoothly last time, right? Like, we are here, right? So that's one thing. But it wasn't what it could have been. So let's do a year. Let's do a year tryout. I'll give you X amount of money. What? I don't even know. Like, what is it? Like 300, 400 grand? Is that a lot? Too much? Well, I mean, that's a shit ton. But like in wrestling wise nowadays, that's kind of like the standard 300 grand was, right? With WWE. So we'll call it 350, right? 350, 375. Come back at All Out. You know what I mean? If they want to fuck around and cause me to, cause me to move, whatever, my time. All right. Again, it's not going to be earth shattering or anything like that, or John Cena or Brock Lesnar level, right? But shit, it's going to make some waves. It's going to make some headlines. Andrade going back. And the pettiness in me would be like, okay, fuck you. You want to do all this shit and you think just because you're WWE and then you can, push me around. All right. Like, I'll do little things. I'll do like a lot of little things. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, they say, right? Like, sometimes it's a lot of the little things that you could just fuck around and do. Do I think he should necessarily go back to AEW? No. You know what I mean? Because of the reasons I just said, because he didn't really do much the first time around. I don't personally know. I'm sure it was reported. I didn't read it. No, I just didn't see it. So again, if you guys know, throw it in the chat. But obviously he wasn't hitting grand slams, out of the park for AEW, and he left and he was mutually released for a reason. So that's what I was saying earlier. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm not bending over backwards and picking up the phone, tripping over myself trying to find my phone to call him, again, depending on the circumstances. If it was all on AEW side and AEW dropped the ball and did X, Y, and Z terrible to Andrade, then it's a different situation, But again, it just depends where it's at. I think it would be really cool to see him on the indies. I lately, tying back into what Lord of Dogtown said earlier, again, shout out to him. I have been a little burnt, maybe not burnt out, but just kind of like, that redundant feeling and just like, all right, like we're just like running in motion type shit. Like, that's kind of where I've been at the past month, 2 months ish, if I'm being completely honest, maybe even a little bit longer. With the product, AEW, WWE in particular, like just well, that's obviously the main things. To the point where I'm like, you know what? We live in an age where, again, I'm not gonna get into it because you guys know me and my side soapboxes. we live in an age where streaming and access to independent content is at an all-time high. I mean, look at me. Look at us. We're sitting here fucking on a random Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, talking about wrestling, just talking bullshit. You know what I mean? And I am just one of hundreds of thousands of streamers on YouTube right now. Probably sitting here talking about various things, right? So we have access to so many different things and to so many different streaming platforms, which again, I'm going through and cutting a lot of that tomorrow. But my point with that is we have access to indie wrestling, and I want to make it a point to do more research and find more indie wrestling promotions to follow and really put more of an effort and more time into that because I still love wrestling. I'm just a little bit tired of the two flavors that I'm getting right now. You know what I mean? And again, I am fucking super stoked about AJ Lee being back, so we're gonna get into that. And this is a whole Debbie Downer thing. Just overall, I was at that point. So they, in my opinion, they should be fucking thinking they're lucky stars that they got AJ Lee back when they did because she really injected a lot into the WWE side. The AEW side with All Out, which I'll kind of get into a little bit here now because that ties into Andrade a little bit. But my speculation and just spitballing random different ideas. All Out is not feeling good. You know what I mean? Like I'm not feeling it. Like it's just I remember when they first announced All Out was going to be in Toronto. I looked into the dates and into tickets because like I've said on previous streams, if you guys have been around for a while, and this is going to be a lengthy stream because I have a lot to talk about. I've been gone for a while, so strap in, guys. I love making it a point to use wrestling as my excuse and my way to discover and travel to new areas. It's kind of been like a happy excuse, right? Like I've been to so many different states because of wrestling, right? Like that was my first time going to Detroit, Michigan was because of wrestling. My first time going to Ohio was because of wrestling. And again, nothing major or groundbreaking, but just two states that I don't know if I would have ever been to. I do have like a small goal to visit each state. But that is wrestling is helping me accomplish that. So it's kind of like a win-win. Toronto is another one. I am fucking dying to go to Canada. That is on my list. My like top 3 that I definitely want to get to within the next year or so. Canada is probably 1 or 2. So I was like, shit, Toronto, All Out, AEW, say what you will, and I have said what I have said. With the weekly television product, it's just not been great. The pay-per-views are the other side of that coin, though. Like the pay-per-views 9 times out of 10 always deliver. So that's why I was like, take this off now. That's why I was like, shit, I might fuck around and go. Just logistics and some work stuff, which is the reason why I did not. Low key, guys, I'm kind of happy I didn't because, of course, like when you're there in person and when you're feeling it, it's completely different. It's just not one of those where I feel FOMO, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, fuck, man, like I really wish I was there, like blah blah blah. I don't know, and it hurts me to say that, you know what I mean? Because I love AEW, I love wrestling. But like Lord of Dogtown was saying, I was kind of feeling, again, me personally, not to the burnt out point, but just not pressed to watch it, Like I have felt myself becoming one of those fans where I'll just catch the clips, right? I'll just go to YouTube and watch that, which there's nothing wrong with that, but that just wasn't me. Like I watched the entire show. I mean, of course I'll fast forward through, some segments, but I sit down and I watch it, So yeah, like let me know what you guys think too in the chat. If you guys have been feeling that a similar way, the same way, if you haven't, if you're just like, fuck yeah, like everything's been on point, then that's cool. And I hate to be, a Debbie Downer, like I was saying, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. You guys good out there? Dogs out there fucking around. What up, E? What up? What up? Didn't you said you're burnt out? Okay, bro. Like furniture, yeah. All right, but I was pulling up the card here so far for All Out. We have 11 matches so far, not counting the pre-show, which has one, so 12 total, which is just fucking insane. God damn, dude. Like, come on. And there's going to be at least another one at it. I feel it. But so far, the card that we have, and again, All Out is next Saturday, September 20th, which is just crazy that we're already towards the end, or getting to the end of September, for it to be a week out already. Like, gosh, it's just crazy. But of course, we have the tag team match, which we have been planning on. However, it has not gone. And I think this match, not feeling the way I was expecting it to feel, and the build not being quite what I hoped for, really. And maybe that's my own fault, is playing a bigger feeling and holding a bigger impact on my excitement for the overall card than maybe I even expected. And of course, that's the Adam Copeland, former Edge, and Christian Cage versus FTR match. It's not even a big deal that it's not for the tag team championships. I of course expected it. Maybe a lot of us expected it going in. It did not pan out that way. Fine, to be fair, I have been an advocate in the past for more just grudge matches and more matches that are not necessarily for a championship, or maybe you're fighting the grudge match to get to the championship, right? If that makes sense. And for me, I think I'm just more personally disappointed with the the lack of fun that we had, just to be blunt, with the toying between Christian and Copeland. You know what I mean? Like, I've already said before kind of what my expectations were, or my thoughts were going into it. And again, that's just my projection, right? And I can't be expecting something that was not presented to me and then be upset that it didn't happen, right? That's not fair. But I just expected a little bit more. I expected a little bit more of a journey from Christian, visually that we would have seen, verbally that we would have seen, something weekly, and it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And so that just honestly completely killed it for me. And again, I'm sure it's going to be a fun match. It's going to be a fun environment for Copeland and Cage. I'm happy for them. But I don't know, dude. Like, I just, between that and them rushing through the blow off between Christian and the patriarchy, you could have gotten so much more out of that. So I just feel like they dropped the ball in some sense, and maybe there's some reasoning that we'll find out later that they couldn't do it for X, Y, and Z. But I don't know, dude. Like, that really played a bigger impact than I think I expected on it. Stokely's been, a low-key MVP out of it, and he's been, entertaining. But I don't know, dude. That's just kind of where I'm at with it. We have the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin, and MVP facing off against Ricochet in the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona. I will say I dig the visual of Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. I think it's cool that Ricochet has a little trio and a little group there, you know. And I think they're the perfect team for him, honestly. So I kind of dig that. In the Hurt Syndicate, they're are they good guys? Or I guess they're good guys now because they're going against Ricochet. Excuse me, and Gates of Agony. I wish we would have had a better transition with that, but it is what it is. I honestly feel like Ricochet, not to be a prediction show, but I honestly feel like Ricochet and Gates of Agony need the win here, so I'm hoping they get it. Moving on, though, we have Mercedes Moné defending the AEW TBS Championship against Riho, who came back from nowhere. She's been gone for over a year, I think, at this point, or at that point. It is what it is. It's gonna be a good match, though. Personally, I think it's gonna be probably one of Mercedes Moné's best matches that she's had in AEW. Which is saying a lot because she's had a nice run of good matches lately. And Riho, while I'm not, again, I feel like a broken record. While I wish they would have had a little bit more of a build for Riho going into a championship match, it is what it is, you know, at this point. At least they did a little bit of something, I guess. But the match itself, I think it's going to be really good because crazy enough, like the thing about Rio that a lot of people talk about is her size, right? And JR has pointed it out a lot. The crazy thing with this matchup though is like Mercedes is tiny herself. You know, I think she's probably a little bit bigger than, like, maybe taller than Riho, but like they're tiny, you know? So I think it's good. They're gonna have a better match than what people are really anticipating. I know that sounds crazy, Brian. Like that's a crazy reason as to why they're gonna have a good match, but I really think that does play into the match itself and how you structure it when you're, you know, the competitors. So I just think it's gonna be a good match, and I feel like it's one of those that Mercedes probably personally has had on her list because, you know, with her love of like Japanese talent and wrestling and things like that, and her knowledge of it, she has had Rio on her list. I don't think they've ever had a match prior, so I think this is going to be a fun match. Now, again, I just wish the story itself was a little bit better going into it, though. Pull up the chat here. What up, K Smith? What up, dude? I appreciate you popping in, man. You know, they oops. At least you're here, man. At least you're here. This was a random stream, dude. So you're not late. I was just early, right? Dennis, I'll get back to your comment though, my friend. Regarding WWE, but just bring up a good point. Moving on though with the card, we have Jon Moxley facing off against Darby Allin in a coffin match. I think this is gonna be a fucking sick match. I can't wait to see it. I have really grown on Darby Allin. I've seen a couple interviews that he's done lately. I know there's some stuff in his past. I don't know too much about that. I should probably do more research into that, but character-wise, he has grown on me. So I'm looking forward to this. I am so fucking done with the Death Riders, though. Like, my fucking goodness. Can we just... I don't know why we're adding people when we should be, excuse me, removing people and removing the Death Riders completely. So there's my thoughts on that. Because, like... I'm not going to get back into it, but my opinion, you had the perfect opportunity to allow Jon Moxley to take a month, 2 months, 3 months off and go away and come back fresh. You know what I mean? Whether that's a good guy or a bad guy, whatever. He lost the championship and was immediately back the next week. I just I don't, and I don't know. I don't know. It bothers me probably a little bit more than it should. Now, do I think Daniel Garcia being added to the Death Riders is going to maybe make it a little bit better, and then potentially Chris Statlander down the road? I don't know. I will say I'll hold out hope for that. I'm trying to benefit of the doubt type thing. I just, man, I'm just so over the Death Riders though. So I'm hoping maybe injecting new members, it'll add some life to it. But dude, like, why are we still going on with it? It just would have been the perfect blow off, and not even saying blow them up completely as a group, right? Just take them off TV when John Moxley lost the championship for at least a month. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just me projecting. But I just felt like that would have been the perfect opportunity. And then you can even come back and still do the feud with Darby Allin. I'm not saying you can't do any of this or whatever, but it just, I don't know. Like, I just felt and feel like kind of like John Cena, like at least John Moxley has acknowledged it, right? But like lost the championship and just kind of moved on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, when it was such the main focal point for so long. It's just kind of odd to me. But whatever. Moving on, MJF versus Mark Briscoe. MJF could potentially be pulling a Kim Kardashian and be getting a quick divorce because he apparently ditched the honeymoon, did not go, and will not go on the honeymoon until Mark Briscoe is dead. So there's that. Apparently it's a tables and thumbtacks match. I missed that apparently. To be honest, I have not watched the full Dynamite this week. So I very well could have missed it. I thought it was gonna end up being a dog collar match. That's what I had put my money on. I thought that Mark was gonna choose that type of match, but I guess we're going with the tables and thumbtacks match, which just seems like a regular hardcore, like no rules type match. So because then they're gonna bring out other bullshit. So whatever. I think the match itself though is gonna be fucking brutal. That's why I expected a dog collar match. Maybe MJF doesn't want to do it because of how great the collar match was that he had with CM Punk and that whole story. So I can appreciate that. But I don't know why. Just for whatever reason, I could just hear Briscoe's promo just like wanting to like treat MJF like a dog, and whip him like a dog, and just take him out back and just all that shit, like I could just hear Briscoe saying it, but I was wrong. It is what it is. But moving on, we have Timeless Tony Storm, of course, the AEW Women's World Champion, defending against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla. I see Tony Storm retaining here. I think we are on the journey of her potentially losing the title soon. I would say within the next probably 3 to 4, maybe like by the end of this year. I don't think it's going to be in a multi-women match like this, though. Of course, you have the excuse, right? Like, oh, like the champion didn't get pinned type thing. But I don't think you want to do that with Toni Storm and with a reign like hers. So I don't think she is going to lose here. I don't know why I'm doing predictions. I didn't say I was going to do predictions. But I don't see her losing here. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. There we go. And next we have, well, that's all I placement. Kazuchika Okada defending the AEW Unified Championship either against Konosuke Takeshita, Mascara Dorado, or the Beast Mortos, whoever wins that three-way. Of course, it's going to be Takeshita. I am surprised. I don't know if this is one of those matches where Tony is doing it now to kind of say, like, fuck you to WWE and trying to have something big on the card. But man, like I just don't, and of course they have planted some seeds, right? I feel like we're rushing to this match. I feel like we still could have probably gotten like another at least maybe year until maybe a year is pushing it, 6 months ish until we got to this match. I would assume the fans are gonna cheer for Takeshita. maybe it's not that big of a deal, but I don't know. I feel like that's why I wouldn't have done this match so soon until we establish fully who we're going to be cheering for, which again, I would assume is going to be Takeshita, but I would just want to emphasize that a little bit more. Whether you have him leave the Don Callis family prior to that or have some dissension and more obvious signs of like something happening between them. I don't know, man. I feel like we're kind of rushing it. Now, that being said, I fucking can't wait to see it. I just that's why I'm like, man, like again, the match itself is gonna be fantastic, but I just wish we would have had a little bit more time. Um And again, I have not been completely caught up with all of the AEW content. But it says here that we have Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill. I did not know that Eddie Kingston officially was back. I know, and I heard the promo that Big Bill did, right? Essentially, like calling Eddie Kingston out. Big Bill was complaining that like people didn't support him and his journey to get like sober, essentially. And I'm thinking, like, that's not true, dude. Like, so many people were fucking happy for you. Like, everything that I've seen and read, like, everything has been so positive. So, and I know it's just the character, right? But, like, it just doesn't make sense. So, whatever. And then he randomly called out Eddie Kingston. I'm like, this motherfucker's been injured for over a year, and you're randomly calling him out? Like, unless Kingston has called Big Bill out in an interview that I missed, or there was some segment that Kingston was in on AEW programming that I missed recently. So please let me know in the chat, because I'm happy to be wrong, but I was just like, really, of all the people, and like, no disrespect, but like, because I think Big Bill is fantastic. I think that they have been wasting him since they brought him in. I think he would have been a fantastic singles guy. I think he could have had almost like the Diesel Shawn Michaels type ish of build, or not build, but presentation with him and Jericho. I know it sounds crazy, right? But in the sense that the littler guy is there to emphasize the bigger guy, right? Long story short with that. But I just don't think that they handled Big Bill properly from the beginning. And again, this, not to shit on it because I love AEW, but I remember when Big Bill, and I fucking hate saying Big Bill, but I hate when he, or I hate me. I remember when he first came in, and when he came into AEW, and I was like, man, like, I wish he would have gone to or to WWE, NXT in particular, because I just think he kind of like an Oprah Femi type, but before Oprah Femi was there, I feel like he could have just been that big man, just fucking dominating, but not in the sense of like, oh, like he can only do X amount of moves. Big Bill can move, you know what I mean? Like he's very talented, very athletic, especially for his size, So I just feel like they've kind of wasted him, to be honest with you. So no disrespect, but this is how we're gonna bring Eddie Kingston back. Again, if I was putting money on it, I would have put money that Kingston would have been coming back and immediately going for Moxley. Even more so now that he's not the champion. So I don't know what we're doing. Is especially because in my opinion, like the thing with AEW is the excitement factor on the weekly television. I think you bring back Kingston and you position him as a big fucking deal, especially with Ospreay being out, Swerve being out, Omega being out. You fucking bring Kingston back and you position him as a main event star, as maybe you even inflated a bit. You present him as a big fucking deal, the next coming, right? Like the next coming of Christ, if you want. Like just like you worship the ground he walks on type shit. Like if you want to just be fucking dramatic about it, you have nothing to lose, right? People love Eddie Kingston, so they're gonna buy into it. I don't know, and again, no disrespect intended, but like you bring Kingston back in his first match as Big Bill, like I don't get that. So to me, that's an L. That's an L. You said it's the first time I ever heard a woman say I'm happy to be wrong. Yeah, dude, no, shit. like of course we all love to be right, but when I'm wrong, that means I'm learning something. So shit, I'm happy to be wrong because I'm learning. That's just kind of how I look at it. But we have Brodito, our AEW Tag Team Champions, facing off against 3 teams, I guess, in a ladder match because, of course, we are. And then the main event. Speaking of the Don Callis family from earlier, we have Hangman Adam Page defending the AEW Men's World Championship against Kyle Fletcher. Long story short, I think it's gonna be a fantastic match. I feel like it's rushed. And to be fair, they have had, like I just mentioned, a good amount of injuries, talent being out, whatever, I don't know, man. But Kyle's your TNT champion. He just won the TNT championship. Like when this was first, excuse me, first announced, or the feeling was that we were going with Fletcher and Page. I flashed back to, was it the All In? Had to be, I guess, the All In media scrum. Maybe it was Forbidden Door, whichever one. The media scrum where Kyle Fletcher was on there. And he was sitting beside Tony Khan, and someone had asked him about, like his aspirations or whatever. And he was saying, like, of course he wants to be the AEW world champion, but down the road, like something to that effect. And I just remember thinking, like, yeah, like this dude is money. Like I've said before, like this dude is money. When I saw him on the fucking Weather Channel, like he was on some local local Weather Channel, like doing the morning broadcast. He just looked like a star, and he sounded like a star, and I fucking love his accent. So that I feel like personally, like that holds a lot, stupid enough. But it makes him stand out. So I was super excited for him. Like I was super excited to watch his journey. And I just don't think it should be happening right now. And again, like, do I think it's going to ruin him or anything like that? No, of course not. But man, like there's something to be said about rushing and taking away that first time, right? You always remember your first time. And when you're putting him in a situation where he's not going to win, I just like why? Like why not hold off? The special talent like you have like him. Why not hold off? Make it a little bit more believable and make the story to where like it's at least closer to 50-50, right? Because right now I would say it's probably like being generous, like 90-10 that Hangman is going to win, right? Part of me, when I was thinking about it, and I was listening to, I think Solid Monster sounds off. So shout out to him, great channel. On the AEW Dynamite After Show. God, I just lost my train of thought now. But what was I about to say about Solid Monster? Anyway, but long story short, I just think that you're rushing it and you kind of don't need to. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna I gave my predictions kind of early there. But I wanted to at least give AEW some time. All Out in particular. All right, cool. Scroll through here really quick. No, yeah, I have not watched Worlds Collide yet. Yeah, K Smith, I am curious to see how long Hangman holds his title too. That's why I'm like, God, man, like, hold off on doing it with Kyle because it's just, and not even saying that I think Kyle could be a good you can make a good argument for him being one to dethrone Hangman. Just not right now. It's too soon. Alright, guys, I was just reading briefly through this Yahoo Sports piece on the WWE Saudi Arabia stuff. I'm gonna pull up the poll here, though, too, really quick. Alright. So far in the chat, in the poll, and again, if you haven't voted, if you are popping in and out, or if you're watching over on X, Twitter, or on Twitch, if you can pop into YouTube, or at least just throw it in the comments what your thoughts are on WrestleMania being in Saudi Arabia. So far, the poll is at 82% no. Do you, and the question for audio, do you agree with WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia? 82% say no, 18% say yes. So I'm very intrigued by that. Very intrigued by that. Let me know what you guys, if you, no pressure, because I know it can get a little testy, right? But let me know what you guys personally think about WWE taking WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia. Let me. All right, cool. So I kind of wanted to read something that wasn't like too much opinion based, just to kind of set the scene here. They've got to have. And let me know if you guys watched their press conference, I guess their announcement of them making it with His Excellency. Again, like drink it. How many times you heard that in that 20-minute time frame? But the faces of the talent there, like my goodness, like, and that would be me because I cannot fix my face, dude. Like I have a terrible, I don't know if you want to call it poker face or a lack of poker face or what have you. Whatever I am thinking or feeling, you see it on my face. I am one of those people where my face will get red, my ears will even get red. It's fucking terrible. I cannot hide it. It just is what it is. And I've tried to hide it, right? And I've tried to ignore it, but I've just accepted it and embraced it now in my older years. So it is what it is. But I know if my ass was standing on that stage, I would have been looking just like them, just stone faced. But I am going to share my screen with you guys because I just love doing that. And then we'll probably be wrapping up here shortly because I'm kind of hungry. I'm actually thinking about going to get a Frosty. Not that I should be eating that shit. But here we go, guys. WrestleMania. I love that picture. WrestleMania. WWE is officially set to take WrestleMania outside of North America for the first time. The company announced Friday that WrestleMania 43 in 2027 will take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. WrestleMania 43's departure from the US marks the first time since 2002 in Toronto, Canada. The annual event is hosted outside the country. WWE has held several significant events in Saudi Arabia in recent years, but never the country's premier tentpole showcase. Before WrestleMania 43 touches down in April 2027, Saudi Arabia will also play host to the next Royal Rumble in January of 2026. And then we get to some quotes here. WrestleMania 43 will take place in Saudi Arabia as part of Riyadh season. WWE CCO Paul Triple H, which I thought he was, I could have sworn he had like a different title, but I guess it's CCO, which I guess is Chief Content Officer. Whatever. He continues, history will undoubtedly be made again. Turkey Al Sheikh is making history a lot lately thanks to our partners at the GAA, the General Authority of Aqaf. In Riyadh season, we could just not be more excited for this opportunity. This is an opportunity to show the world what I think most people already know, that WWE is a global brand that reaches every corner of the world and excites fans from everywhere. WWE's parent company, TKO Group Holdings, has embraced Saudi Arabian partnerships in recent years, having struck a partnership with the country that dates to 2018. The first event WWE held in Saudi Arabia was the one-off Greatest Royal Rumble in April of 2018, which saw Braun Strowman win an essentially meaningless showcase version of the famous gimmick match. In total, WWE has held 13 events in Saudi Arabia. And again, guys, if you're only listening via audio, I'm reading this from Yahoo Sports. Under the TKO umbrella, also says the premier MMA promotion UFC, which has entered into the mix with Saudi Arabia events. The promotion made its debut in the country this past February and notably partnered with Riyadh season for its UFC 306 pay-per-view at the Las Vegas Sphere in 2024. Following the success of WrestleMania 41 this past April at Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium, next year's WrestleMania 42 is expected to once again take place in Las Vegas. New Orleans Mercedes-Benz Superdome was initially slated to host the 2026 event. However, those plans changed, and New Orleans is now set to host WWE's Money in the Bank event in 2026 with an eventual WrestleMania date still promised. They're like, yeah, fuck you, we'll get to you. Here's Money in the Bank. Jesus Christ. Indianapolis, Indiana's Lucas Oil Stadium also has a future WrestleMania headed its way. The city hosted this year's Royal Rumble and plays, I guess that should probably say plays host to WWE's debut on ESPN WrestlePalooza on September 20th. A future SummerSlam has also been promised to Indianapolis. And I believe that's it. Yeah, and then it goes on to just some Cody Rhodes stuff. But yeah. So, what say you guys? Yeah, they do love Indianapolis. Like, geez. And that's not even the place that they're not even New Orleans. Like, New Orleans should be getting a Royal Rumble. Fucking around with them. My thoughts, guys. I am not going to get too. I'm gonna try not to get political. Because you guys with me, that's not what this channel is about. My long story short of it is I am happy for the fans, for the people over there. I'm happy for the people that we see that lose their minds at those press conferences over there at those little events that they have, like, you know, like the pre-shows and stuff like that you see just losing their mind, right? The people who have nothing to do with their government, maybe despise their government, maybe have different thoughts and opinions and beliefs than their government, but they can only do what they can do, right? The same can be said for people here in America, for any country, right? You can live in a country and completely disagree with the majority of what it stands for or what it does. Just say, I'm not saying that's my belief or the people over there's beliefs. I'm just saying in generality, right? So I'm just happy for the people who are over there, who are able to go to a WrestleMania, who have not had the opportunity to prior, right? Looking at the positive side, it is going to be very cool for them. They are going to have a kick-ass week because, you know, obviously the whole WrestleMania week. And I think they even have like a like WWE like structure over there. Like they have like a building over there, like I don't know the proper words, but like a almost like a, you know how they wanted to make like a physical Hall of Fame here? Like they have like a WWE like almost like an homage type of like building set up to WWE. So that's cool. You know, when I saw a picture of that, like when I was going through some like scrolling through some shit earlier, I was like, wow, that's actually really cool. Like I'm kind of jealous like I can't see that, you know. Fast forwarding to their, I guess, press conference, whatever their announcement that they did in Vegas, WWE, they being WWE, with was it Turkey Al Sheik. Um, I think that they could not trip over themselves any more than to like just praise everything about Saudi Arabia and His Excellency. I thought that was a bit much. Like Undertaker could not find enough like great words in the word period to convey, I guess, whatever his feelings are and his excitement is. And look, man, they are in your the talent are in a really shitty situation, right? Because you work for a company and you have to do what you're told, essentially, or you do what you're told or you quit. Long story short of it, just the brass tacks, like you expect to get fired. You know what I mean? Like, of course, if it's unreasonable and like to a certain extreme, obviously, right? But if they're just asking you to go to a press conference, is what I'll call it, and promote WrestleMania 43 that's going to be held in Saudi Arabia, you got to do it. You could say no, and maybe they'll say, okay, fine. But you know that that's gonna fucking tank your booking, right? Like it's gonna tank your view of them. It's gonna tank the future promotion that you know is gonna be off the chart going into this. The closer you get to this WrestleMania coming up. So if you're Liv Morgan, for instance, what the fuck you supposed to do? You know, like that's why the backlash that I saw some from people on Twitter, because I haven't been on Twitter much, but that I briefly saw, I was like, y'all are wild. Because like again, like when you're asked a question, right, you do have some leeway over your answer, right? Unless they give you a prepared statement, which if they do, then it is what it is. So I would probably limit my glazing of them. I would probably say, a long story short, I would kind of like what I said earlier. I would probably be like, I'm super stoked for the fans. You know, I'm super stoked that we are able to present this for the fans over there and for the people over there. And I would probably just keep it like that, you know. If I'm speaking personally, I'll say that I am happy that WWE's partnership and this partnership with Saudi Arabia, you know, it has allowed for more growth for women in the sports world over there and for them to have a presence, period. You can't deny the growth in that, right? Like, yes, we can sit here and make fun of the Power Ranger suits and all this shit and how the women are going to be covered from neck to toe, right? But like, at least they're on the show. They could very easily not be on the show. Again, like, I don't know if WWE would fully allow that, but it was a big fucking deal when they had the first women's match on the show. You know what I mean? So look, you can control what you can control. If you're a talent, you can only do what you can do, right? Unless you are willing to depart with that company, and you are willing to, if you're not willing to quit, you're willing to take a stand and know you're probably going to get fired. Or your booking going for, like I said, is probably going to be shit, and you're probably going to be forgotten about until your contract expires. So you have to make that option or that decision, and you have to weigh your options, and you have to really take a look at it, and take a look at yourself, and see what you are able to compartmentalize. Really, if you are able to put business with business and personal with personal, do something similar maybe to what Mustafa Ali used to do when he would go over there. All his earnings and the proceeds that he would make from that, he would donate to a charity. So you can do something like that. There's options, you know, but you're in a really shitty situation. Now, if I am upper management, right? Like upper, like the Nick Khan, right? And like those people, and like I don't even like Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel and Triple H. Like I don't even know how much pull Triple H has in that, to be honest with you. Maybe he has a lot, maybe he has more than I think, but I don't know. Like when I make a deal with that government, that's a completely different story, right? A completely different situation. But if you're talent, you can only do what you can do, right? Um, how it makes me feel as a fan though, like personally and morally, like it disappoints me, right? Like I wasn't one of those fans when I first saw that it was official. That was like, oh fuck WWE, like I'm never watching again, like fuck this, like I'm done, like I'm canceling everything, like burning everything, da da da. That's just not how I react personally, really, like with anything. To be honest with you guys, I was just a bit more just disappointed. You know, I have my own personal beliefs, my certain, like me as a human being and me personally, like I would not be accepted over there in Saudi Arabia. So I found it laughable when Joe Tessitore, one of the first things they brought up was, oh, like the people in the US like can't wait to figure out how to travel over there. I was like, motherfucker, I can guarantee you that was not their first thought, or maybe their first 5 or 10 or 50 thoughts was like, oh man, like I can't wait to go over there. I can't wait to figure out how to travel to Saudi Arabia. That's not happening, dude. Like it's not happening. So that's where my disappointment comes into, is because of course, and that's why I'm not trying to get political. Like it just is what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's a different country. They have their own views. They have their own ways. I can't control that, so I'm not going to sit here and bitch about it. Um, it just is what it is. You know what I mean? It makes me think about my country. You know, the country I live in, right? We are saying far from perfect is like an understand like such an understatement, right? We have so many fucking problems over here. We continue to have problems. Some of our problems seemingly continue to get worse as the days go on. Particularly gun violence. Again, I'm not going to get into too much here. But in my opinion, regardless of what side you sit on, it shit's got to stop. It's just getting to a point where you can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You can't feel safe anywhere. You can't go to a debate. You can't go to an outdoor event. You can't go to a parade. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to a concert. You can't go anywhere without the fear and the thought in the back of your mind, like, okay, like, is something bad going to happen here? I've personally been in a situation where um, we thought that there was, gunshots going out, stampedes of people. So yeah, it's not a good time, guys. It's not a good feeling. Um, so it makes me think about my country, right? So I say that because no country is perfect, and no country, in my opinion, is above another. I think we all have our faults, and we all have our strengths, and we all have some good, you know what I mean? Some more than others. But it just is what it is. You know what I mean? Personally, obviously, the last thing I thought about was, oh man, like I wonder how much the travel is going to be to Saudi Arabia. I wonder if I can take, come on, come on. They would take one look at me, and I, God knows what would happen. Um, so I could not roll my eyes hard enough when Joe Tessitore was like, mentioning the fans, like the fans from the US trying or like traveling over there. Like, come on, bro. Like, again, I know you're in a tough situation and you have to present and be happy and da 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 and put on a good face, but like less is more, my dude. You can say less. So yeah. So between that and them they're just tripping over themselves, and for lack of graphic phrases, I will not say on here, just glazing his excellency is what I'll say, and Riyadh season and all that, like it's just, and again, obviously, like you gotta like fluff them up, but like, and to be fair, they do it with every host city, but like this, it's just so noticeable. It's like on another level with Saudi Arabia. It's like, my God, like I know you're getting billions of dollars, like $1 billion and millions of dollars, but like, can you like keep it in your pants, dude? Like, can you relax? Like, calm down. Calm down. So I am now looking forward to, the closer we get to it, the marketing and the shoving it down the throat that we're going to be getting. But I can only, like, the build to it is going to be so surreal to see. Like they're like, you're going to be going what, city to city here in the US, or maybe they'll take it to like, they can't take it to London, to the UK. So I'll hold off on that for a second. But like, you're like your weeks building up to it. Like it's just gonna be a wild, like, WrestleMania season for WrestleMania 43. So there's that. It sucks for the indies, for the indie promotions, right? Who really take advantage and really have made WrestleMania week what it is too. A lot of what I enjoyed about going to the two WrestleManias that I did was being able to go to the indie stuff that was happening in the days leading up to it nearby. That shit's dope. You meet so many cool people. You really learn about so many other talent that are out there. I met and engaged now with like a good handful of people from Philly, for instance, from WrestleMania 40 when I went there. So that's dope. So I really enjoy that. So it's a shame that the indie promotions are not going to be able to travel out there, I would imagine, unless they make some type of deal, and I don't know. So maybe that could be good for indie talent, or like not talent specifically, but like maybe indie promotions. Maybe one or two of them can figure out a way to make some type of deal with the Saudi Arabia government and really like feed into it and make a pitch for the WrestleMania week and the wrestling week period. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know if part of the deal that Saudi has with WWE is that they can't talk about any other wrestling promotion period, which I would imagine that's probably the case with WWE being how they are. So I don't know, but I think it could honestly, if I was an owner of an indie promotion, I would maybe reach out to some of my peer indie promotions and start now because you have plenty of time. Pick a state, or maybe you can do it like something here and then maybe Canada or the UK or something. But at least pick a state in the US and be like, yo, like, okay, WrestleMania isn't going to be here this year. Fuck it. Like, it's not going to be in the US this year. Fuck it. We'll make our own WrestleMania week here, and we'll pick whether it's Florida, whether it's New York, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Philadelphia. Pick a wrestling hotbed and make a week out of it, or maybe not a full week, but you can do like a Wednesday through Saturday, like still kind of leading up to. I'm assuming it's still going to be a 2-day WrestleMania, right? So building up into that, you can still do like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like that's why you'll want to reach out to other indie promotions, right? Like showcase talent, like your GCWs, right? Like your MLWs, like have like like reach out to all the big indie promotions out there and be like HOG, right? Be like, look, like let's fucking take advantage of WrestleMania not being here, because now all the fans in this area, right? Like it's not gonna be as big of a travel, right? But if you can make like a small little 3-4 day stretch of something fun, maybe 3 days, right? If you can make like a small 3-day, maybe like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday stretch out of it, I say fuck it. Like make like your own little like WrestlePalooza event, like make up something. So I think the indie promotions have a real opportunity to do something fun and something cool here. So I hope they do. I hope they do, and I hope they take advantage of that, and I hope they don't just take it as a L, you know what I mean? Or just do like, like random shows. Like really fucking like take advantage of it. Be like, all right, like y'all want to take the money, y'all want to grab your bag over there. Cool. Y'all do that. We got the people here. You know what I mean? Just do something fun. So I don't know. Just some thoughts about that. Um yeah, I think that's I'm just thinking through. I think that's kind of everything that I wanted to get off my chest on it, really. Just more disappointment than anything. Look, I don't think we should be surprised either, though. I don't think any of us should be surprised. I'm not sitting here fucking like promoting it. Obviously I'm gonna watch it, right? It is what it is. I'm probably not doing a live stream for it, like a live watch along at least, rather. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe look, maybe things will change between now and then and I'll change and maybe I won't watch it, but I in the back of my mind, the second this deal started becoming a thing and shows were going over there, right? Like in the greatest Royal Rumble and like honestly, specifically when they announced that the Royal Rumble itself was going to be there, I was like, okay, it's truly only a matter of time now until WrestleMania itself is over there. I do feel that was the other thing. I do feel terrible for the people of London that have been just clamoring for WrestleMania, have been teased with WrestleMania. Fucking John Cena, right? When he was over there, like was teasing them with bringing WrestleMania over there. It's just a slap in the face for anywhere else, not even it being Saudi Arabia, anywhere else, period, getting the first WrestleMania outside of North America proper. You know what I mean? Like obviously there was WrestleMania 18 in Canada, but the first WrestleMania outside of North America, and it's not London or like in anywhere in the UK. I just think that's a slap in the face, and I think that's just really shit. That's a lot of just a huge smack in the face. I'm like, oh fuck you, to the people over there. And if I lived over there, I would be like, okay, fuck you guys. I would be less likely to jump on that pre-sale for the next time they go over there. Just me being spiteful and me being in my feelings and me being the only petty that I can do, right? Back at you. Is not financially contribute. So if I lived over there, that's my first initial thoughts. Now again, with the limited shows that they get, now if they were in my area, would I try to take advantage of the show over there? Probably I would still want to, but I would be less as excited and less as eager to. Because it's we live in a world where money more than ever talks, and it's just sad. That's and again, that adds to my disappointment feeling. It's just that man, like money truly just does buy anything, and it's scary in some ways, but it's just sad. You know what I mean? So I feel for the people in London and the UK who have been toyed with for years and decades now, and have yet to finally get a WrestleMania. Maybe this is helping, or maybe that could help lead that. Maybe like WrestleMania 45 can be in London. Maybe Wembley Stadium, that could be cool, right? But I don't know, man. Those are the people I feel for. Like it is what it is. Um what up, Fernando? What up, Fernando? What up, Maria? What up, guys? What up, what up? But we'll be winding down here, guys. I appreciate everyone for popping in. I appreciate again Lord of Dogtown for your super chat earlier, my friend, before the show started. Again, it means a lot. It does add. It does help the show out. So I appreciate that. Okay, Smoothie said TKO is going to be the downfall of the WWE. You know, dude, I was actually thinking about, are we gonna get to a point where it gets so inflated, right? Like that balloon, it just keeps getting inflated, and then it just bursts, right? I don't think it would be the downfall in the sense that WWE would ever like fold as a business. But it I just sometimes you can, or it can get to a point where it's like I don't know. I don't know. What up, dude? You said most of the people going to Mania in the States can go to Mania in Saudi. Like Saudi just gonna be as expensive in the States. I mean, though the flights? Like I've never looked into it. One second. I've never personally looked into it, but like I can only imagine the fucking price of the flight alone there to Saudi Arabia. Like, and how much are like I have no idea, but like how much are hotels there? Like I mean, yeah, fucking if you think of like the green t-shirt guy, like I'm sure he could probably afford it, but I don't know, dude. Like that shit's gotta be like fucking crazy. Okay, you said ticket prices. Oh, this just ticket prices ain't hurting at all right now. TKO is a business. It's their call. WWE answers to people. It'll be years for ticket prices to take in what you're saying for effect. Oh yeah, like the ticket prices, like like the outrage with that, and I think one of the execs had made a comment like, Vince McMahon was charging like family prices or something. Like, look, dude, like I personally don't take that to heart because like that I just take that with inflation and with everyday life right now. Like everything is fucking expensive. So I assume to me personally, I assume to be priced out of shit. So that's why I don't even bother looking. Oh no, dude, I'm not saying yeah. And you said the flights in America ain't cheap either. Nah, but dude, like it's much more when you go international and when you're fucking flying, what is it, like 18 hours or some shit over there? Like, dude, like we're talking it's a big difference, dude. It's a big difference. Like, I'm not saying like shit, just for me personally, like for me flying from Orlando to Las Vegas sometimes is over $1,000. So that shit, you know what I mean? So and to be fair, that's why I didn't go to Mania. Because I am not paying a fucking like $1,000, $1,500. I just can't. You know what I mean? I just can't. Maybe I can, but I just won't. Um. So yeah. Now, in the past, have I paid a good chunk of money for WrestleMania 35, for instance? I did. I did. But I had planned for that well in advance. I did get one of their package deals, which was much more beneficial. So there are ways that you can plan it out. And I have been that person, but right now, it just honestly me as an individual, me personally, I've like a lot of my my viewpoints and just me spending money on just certain things. I've just kind of changed like my mindset on a lot. And like my justification for certain things. So that's where I'm at personally. But your points are very valid and correct, E. When but it's not just the monetary value and the monetary aspect of it. It's where you're flying to. Because if we're talking just for instance, like international flights, for instance, like from here to the UK, for instance, like if we were talking about this announcement being in the UK, that shit would still be fucking expensive. Um, but it's just a matter of where you're going, you know? Yeah, Fernando, you said Saudi Arabia has some sexist culture, and I hate that our female talent having to cover up like they do. Facts, dude. Facts. Like I said earlier, though, I am happy that they are at least making some type of progress over there, and some type of growth. But it is still it's a lot of work to be done for the world. For the world. Fernando, you said I guess like prayers for Jerry Lawler. What's going on with Jerry? Pull it up here before we dip out. Oh, Fernando. Okay, I was trying to look it up, man. You say you suffered a stroke the other day? Damn, dude. Yeah. T's and P's, as Pat McAfee would say, then to Jerry Lawler. Yeah, okay, so regarding Eddie Kingston. So apparently it was just made official an hour ago on Collision. So breaking news for you guys. Eddie Kingston has accepted Big Bill's challenge. I'm watching a clip here. Obviously, I can't share the clip with you guys. Oh. Just trying to see if he made it. Okay, no. So he didn't physically, but I guess Eddie Kingston has answered the challenge to Big Bill. So it has been made official per AEW's Twitter page. Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill. Big Bill has been on a winning streak and wants to prove he belongs on the big stage. After being out for over 1 year, Kingston has answered Bill's challenge. Eddie will return Saturday at All Out. Again, I said my thoughts on that earlier. I'm just fucking happy to get Eddie Kingston back, dude. I've missed this guy. I didn't realize how much I was going to miss him or how much I liked him until he was gone. It was one of those things, you know what I mean? But I'm fucking stoked that this guy is coming back. I just wish it would have been presented differently. But yeah. K Smith, yeah, like he's been through some shit. Jerry Lawler, he's been through some shit. I don't know how many strokes he's had, but like, dude, he's been fucking through it. But guys, we will be wrapping up here. Excuse me. I truly appreciate you guys. Again, I apologize for being MIA for a few weeks. But I am trying to get back into things. Yeah. And I missed being with you guys, so I wanted to carve out a little bit of time. Sorry for all the bullshit in the background. Working on getting everything set up here. Like I was saying earlier, just life, man. You know, medical stuff. Just shit comes up, man. Shit comes up, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta go back to Boston in October. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I just really appreciate you guys for popping in. Oh, what's up, Max? What up? What up? He just popped in. He said, "What's up, Ash? Love from Sri Lanka. Love your pod." I appreciate that, man. What up? What up? I appreciate you popping in here, man. But yeah, and I appreciate all you guys watching over here on YouTube. Everyone who was watching over on Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys. If you're watching on the replay crew, I appreciate that too. Drop a comment in the chat. I will. I downloaded the YouTube Studio app on my phone, so that's pretty cool. Gives me a little bit more of a streamlined access to everything, so that's pretty cool. Still learning a lot of the creator stuff on this side, but I think that within the next few months, guys, and then the next few months, I'm looking forward to. I'm very excited to be in the new place and just here chatting with you guys. So thank you again, guys, for joining me tonight. It was a random a long stream. So I appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It does help the channel out here. Again, shout out to Lord of Dogtown for your super chat earlier, my friend. It really does help us out here, help me out here with the subscriptions and stuff like that and stuff to make the channel grow and to be able to stream. So I appreciate you guys, everyone in the chat. Until next time, my friends, stay safe out there and enjoy some wrestling. Take care.